We all know the story of Pompeii, right? The story of Pompeii is a story of death.
Nice to meet you. I'm from CNN Brasil. It's an honor to talk with you. Congratulations on Pompeii. It's
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your passion with us. It seems such an intimate Tom Hiddleston project. You said that pursuing stories like this one is one of the reasons you became an actor. Listening to you talk about Pompeii, this passion, I felt that same spark that made me become a journalist. Why did this feel like the right moment to share such a personal passion with the world?
That's such a great question. I think I've accumulated a few years now of storytelling experience. And my passion for the ancient world is something that I've held on to from a long time ago in my life. I think it's now no secret that I studied classics at university. It was my specialist subject and curiosity as a young person at school. I have simply always loved it. I love ancient Greece and ancient Rome, the deep past. I found it fascinating that so much of our systems of thinking, our systems of language, our systems of organizing society, law, culture, architecture, literature, politics, come from, certainly in Western Europe, ancient Greece and ancient Rome. Globally, of course, the modern world is influenced by the Americas, by North America, by South America, and the ancient cultures there, by Asia, by African culture, by the Middle East, Australasia, Polynesia. But there's so much about ancient Greece and ancient Rome that I've always been captivated by, and it was my specialist area of study, and I felt when National Geographic asked me to develop a story about Pompeii, I leapt at the opportunity because we can learn so much. I find it very reassuring to consider the thread of human connection across time. That even though the people of Pompeii lived 2,000 years ago, we can learn so much from what's been preserved of their ordinary lives. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius in AD 79 was a tragedy, and so many lost their lives. And yet there is something extraordinary about the gift of its preservation, that we can hear their stories and retell them and be connected across the past. There's something very powerful about that.
This feel less like a documentary you're hosting and more like a love letter to history from you. Do you think audiences are going to discover a different side of Tom Hiddleston through this series?
Maybe. It depends how much you know already. All I hope is I communicate my passion for this subject, for this place, and for these people, and that I can share that passion with the audience. And I hope if you didn't know the story of Pompeii, that it's the most thrilling and emotional and stimulating introduction. I hope if you were very familiar with Pompeii, that perhaps you learned something new. I hope that it inspires your own curiosity about history and about the past. I do think any consideration of history is the willingness to be curious about lives that came before our own. That every society in the present day is standing on the shoulders of the past, and we have relatively short lives in the scale of human history, and it's interesting and illuminating to learn about where we are from, and it may have an impact on where we are going in the future.
Last year, we spoke with your brother in fiction, Chris Hemsworth, about his National Geographic series, and he told us that the most challenging projects often leave us with the greatest lessons. After making Pompeii, what do you think has been your biggest lesson, and what do you hope audience will learn from this journey as well?
I've never presented or hosted a story like this as myself. I have more often played characters in stories, and I wondered what the experience would be like and how it would be similar or different from being an actor or a performer in a movie or a TV series. And what I learned is that the commitment and the responsibility and the requirement is almost exactly the same. As an actor, it's my responsibility to live in the shoes of another human being for a short time and empathize with the conditions of their lives, with who they are. And in this instance, on Pompeii Out of Time, I realized it's the same job, that the first requirement is a requirement of empathy and commitment, that in order to bring the lives of ordinary people in Pompeii back to life, my first commitment was to empathize with them as deeply as I possibly can, to have compassion for their suffering, for their experience, for their trauma, for their courage, for their bravery, for their resilience, and for their experience. So that's what I learned. I learned that in the end, empathy is the first responsibility and the first duty.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, I have so many questions for you, but we have to wrap. And
Thank you,
wish you the best
Nicole.
of.
They were great questions.
Thank you.
They were really different
Thank
as
you.
well.
Wish you the best of luck with
Wish you the
Pompeii.
best.
Bye.
Thank you. This is the story I want to tell.